All right, this is the beginning of a new series I'm putting together, something small, nothing crazy. I am a big fan of Stoicism, and I was gifted a while back this deck of cards called Stoic Reminders. I'll link it down below so people can check it out if they want to purchase their own set. It's basically a deck of 52 cards with quotes from Stoics like Epictetus, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius. What I want to do is pick one every week, kind of interpret it for what I think it means, and kind of provide people a little hope or wisdom to kind of get their week started, get them through the week, things of that nature, ways to think and behave and be the best version of yourself, because that's kind of what this channel is all about. So I think it's cool. I'm a big fan of Stoicism. I know it's maybe oversaturated these days. A lot of people are into it, but when something's oversaturated, that means it's in high demand. So I think that's a testament to how valuable it is for some people. So, like I said, it's going to be my own twist. I like it. I'm a fan of it. So I don't really care what other people think or say. It's something that motivates me to be the best version of myself. So I think there's value in maybe sharing some teachings. And, you think about when these were said and written or whatever it is, and it's been centuries, and to this day in 2026, it's still relevant. So like I said, that's a tribute to how powerful and meaningful these messages are. With that being said, I'm not going to keep yapping. The first one I picked out is this. So this one's from Seneca, as you can see. It says, "What progress, you ask, have I made? I've begun to be a friend to myself." I chose this because I think we're our own worst critic. We're our own worst critic. I know a lot of people think the same way. And it's good in the sense that you demand the best out of yourself in that way, but I think some of us can be a little too harsh on ourselves, myself included, especially. That's why it hits home for me. But if you're not kind to yourself and if you don't love yourself, then nobody will. And the important thing, and I always talk about it in other videos, is to have grace with yourself. Life is hard. You're going to be battle tested. There's going to be trials and tribulations. It's not going to be perfect every time. You don't know what you don't know, right? That's what life's about. You're learning, you're growing constantly from the day you're born to the day you die. We're never complete. We're never full. We're never 100% the best version of ourselves. And that's the beautiful thing about life. It's that there's always room for improvement. There's always a strive to continue growing and be the best version of yourself, like I always say. So to the point of the quote, befriending yourself is the most important and valuable thing you can do, because that way you give yourself the leeway to make mistakes, and therefore you grow exponentially more, because you're not caught off guard. You're not beating yourself up over the fact that, oh, I said the wrong thing. I made the wrong decision. I didn't do something that I should have done, or any little thing, right? I didn't go to the gym today. I ate poorly today. I didn't call my parents, I didn't call my friends. It's little things, right, that maybe accumulate in our minds, especially subconsciously, that create a poor image of ourselves, and therefore we think poorly of ourselves, right? And that's just not true. So, like I said, I don't want these to be too long. I could talk about this stuff for hours, but just befriend yourself. Talk to yourself, dig into your subconscious. Ask yourself, why do I behave the way I behave? Why do I think the way I think? Why do I speak to myself the way I speak to myself? And can I afford to be a little more graceful with myself and give myself leniency to make mistakes, to take risks, to push myself out of my comfort zone? Because that's how you're ultimately going to grow. It's giving yourself leeway to take life challenges on, and therefore you make significantly more progress because you accept the fact that maybe you're not perfect and you're a work in progress, and that's what life is ultimately about. So go into this week just thinking to yourself, I need to learn to love myself, and therefore everyone around me can love me as well. And I will become the best version of myself as a result of that practice. So we're wired from birth to think a certain way, to behave a certain way, whether it's our upbringing, our genetics, our environment. So it's a difficult thing to understand and to master and to almost massage into what you want it to be, the kind of person you want to be. But if you chip away at those difficult things to acknowledge, you'll realize, okay, this is why the way I am. Let me take the right step forward. And like I said, be kind to yourself in doing that, because it's a journey, it's a process. There's going to be ups and downs. Progress is not linear. And that's ultimately what makes the best version of oneself.